everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Project Webtoons Podcast, our bi-weekly show where we cover some of the hottest, latest webtoons around in the interwebs, all word. You know what it is. It's your big dog Sleepy here, and I am, of course, joined once more again by my great host here.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Seraph here.
Oh, you're just smiling and giggling.
On my screen, you're pointing the other direction.
Yeah, but on my screen, I'm pointing to the right direction. So I just like to keep it messed up, just mess around with everything. But also joining us down here in the world of Shadowland right now, he's not really feeling like showing us his self today.
No.
Aw. He's just so full of life right now. He read way too much, and he won't admit it, and now he doesn't feel like getting in front of camera.
I really didn't read too much because it's not like...
Okay. Bye. Okay, before I jump right into this very dumb conversation, I'm definitely going to remind you all to give us a thumbs up down there and definitely hit the subscribe button below so you can go ahead and be updated when we have new episodes as they drop out. But anyway, to get into what he just said, what's up?
This is Ark Dragoon.
Yes, you want to make sure to say his name. But Ark says he didn't read too much. So we didn't do an episode for it this week for the first release premiere of Noblesse. But Ark said he wanted to be very prepared for this. And in 3 days, he busted out 500 chapters.
Hey, 545.
Oh, see, look at
That's a lot of friggin' chapters.
There's also 6 more chapters of a spin-off that I'm debating whether or not I want to read it, but...
I tried to read Tower of God.
He essentially read over Tower of God.
In 3 days.
And that's on top of, and just to make sure that like no one's like, oh, I can do that. No. This is also on top of what we're already reading and then what he reads as well.
Yes.
So there's well over probably like 900 chapters of reading.
I wouldn't say 900, maybe like 700.
If you say, I can't wait to see you next week. I really can. God. But yeah. So
Jimmy knows I'm cooking curry, right?
Yes, I've already informed him of that. But to get us not too far off track, but we definitely want to get into some of the good chapters from this week because we got new updates from Solo Leveling that were pretty hot. We got a follow-up, especially with Descent of the Demonic Master. We got more big moves made on beginning of the end. Just tons of stuff.
Talk about the dad, bro.
Well, it wasn't dad this week. It was the kids.
I know, but it was just so...
It wasn't the dads this week, it was the kids. And since we already brought that up, that's our first one we're going to start off with today. Let's head over into the world of Brother Now with Peerless Dad. So, after last week, or not last week, but the week prior that we talked about it, we were with Brother Now right after him getting out of the battle with the Iron Demon? Or no, the Earth Demon.
The Iron... The metal.
Yeah, it was Metal Earth Demon.
The metal stone.
So, and we brought up in that one, we were wondering when they were going to jump back with the kids. And lo and behold, right next chapter, right out of there, we're going back in with the kids while they're in the middle of the fight.
Off the rip.
Right off of it. And it ended off with the kids where they were, the two brothers were, looks like they were trying to perform what we believed was one of their energy-based moves. They looked like they were combining their energies, and it doesn't work out for a bit there. But then they decide to basically go with a very just hand-in-hand motion for it. And
no, they couldn't do it correctly.
They couldn't do it correctly, so they just basically went with like,
let's just do it like as much as we can. I'll give you take basically.
Well, it was supposed to be give and take, but they supposedly didn't need to touch hands to do it. But apparently it's just like, nah, it's too hard. So they're going with the generic way of handling it. But yeah. As the fight goes all the way down, the first instance of them even trying it doesn't go very well. They get kind of handled pretty quickly. But once again, the big dude, every time the big bad tries to talk some shit on the sister, and she's just like, don't even come over here. Don't look at me. Finish the fight over there, because I will wreck your shit. And I really just wanted to do it.
Their shit, so
what's up?
I'm excited to watch her break their shit.
I really want her to. I keep waiting for her to just like, you know what?
Homie twisted the little one's arm, and then so I'm just waiting for her to hop in and twist his arm and be like, oh, yeet.
I mean, the thing is,
the brothers were able to do something at the end, but even then, it was like
it wasn't as clean as it probably could have been, or as what they should. But I'm noticing that during their whole like exchange, when when the sister's watching them, when they do the hand connection, she makes a comment on it. And she says, "Well, I guess it can work like that too." So she knows what they're doing. So she's, I'm guessing from her previous master, she is already versed in exactly what's going on.
She's smart enough to, like put 2 to 2 together. So
yeah, but she could see what they were trying to do, while the other guy was like, he didn't really quite have a complete collection.
He was surprised that they can manifest like the energy, but he was like, he doesn't know what the technique is.
Yeah,
the sister definitely is like, no, I can put together what the technique is. So she's smart enough to figure out what.
Well,
what
yeah. We know she is the smart one of the trio, but the whole fight plays out, and of course, homeboy does get his shit kicked in. But right after that occurs, we see just these 2 warriors drop down, and they were not dressed like the
Heavenly Association.
They weren't dressed completely like they weren't dressed like the Association teachers, but they also weren't dressed like the shadow soldiers we've seen. The ones that followed around Princess, and the ones that jumped over when Now was running away with the one kid. So it wasn't those guys. These looked like, they weren't regular bandits, but they definitely looked like they might be maybe hidden guards for somebody. I think
they're actually the guards for the bald-headed kid.
I think that they might be the bodyguards for the one bald-headed kid, possibly, because
because they mentioned that he
family.
Well, yeah, he's part of. He is one of the higher society family members. So they of course jump. I think they're jumping in to either stop the fight, or they're jumping in to possibly
fight the kid.
It might be that, which I'm hoping it's that.
But more than likely it's going to be that, because of the way this is going to play out. They're like, oh, you hurt, so and so. We're going to kill you.
Okay, I don't want to get too far into prediction into talking like predictions for next chapter just yet, but with the two boys now displaying some of their abilities, now that we're this further ahead with them, so do we kind of guess or know that what teacher that they're learning from, or are they still kind of
they're doing bits and bits, because it's definitely, because that technique is not the technique of that one guy, the one dragon,
the red hair dragon.
Yeah, the
red haired.
That's not one of his techniques.
No, that is definitely like the twins technique.
I would say it might be like it might be more of like the twins that they met earlier.
Yeah,
might be something they're trying to like copy them a little bit.
Them a little bit.
Yeah, so they may trying to do maybe like the airwalk thing.
No, I'm pretty sure this is part of the base cultivation. That's why the twins needed a pair, because it requires 2.
So essentially the twins' cultivation skill will be the Wonder Twin powers. There must always be 2.
Some sort of mixture between 3 different techniques.
It'll be nice to see what that kind of plays out to be, but
because they have their dad's technique, which is basically their like hit me until
they're learning the base. They're learning the base iron technique. Then whatever
they're learning the spear techniques from.
They're learning spear techniques from one redhead brother. They also, I believe, they've gotten some instructions from the heavenly dragon, the flying heavenly dragon, her. They're learning swordsmanship from her. And now I'm trying to remember, there was one other dude, and I believe his was hand-to-hand combat. I try to remember if he's also if he's been teaching as well, because he was the first one, I believe, to like try and persuade to like get the kids, but he was going through like back channels, not asking the dad directly.
I don't know if he's actually involved.
You sure?
Teach them.
I don't remember him. I remember him saying he wanted to teach, but I don't know if he got permission from the dad to do things.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. He wasn't trying to go through the dad like where all of the other ones were like directly confronting him. He wanted to do like the back end thing where he wanted them.
Two of the dragon masters that were teaching the kids.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So we still got those 2. We still haven't seen anything come back from the I guess we'll just call it the college. We haven't seen any knowledge come back from that yet either, because we know that the one redhead brother took them there in order to kind of figure out exactly what abilities or what energy they're using. But we know we haven't heard anything back from there yet. So I don't know if maybe we'll play in there from that as well.
Like I said, it wouldn't be strange if we find out they end up using like 3 techniques and not blow themselves up with it. But
probably, I would say that it would be interesting if it turns out that they'd be one of the only individuals who can do it, because it's bouncing between 2 people instead of it all being contained in one. But we'll have to see how that plays out. Anyway, so next chapter, predictions. Homeboys drop down. Do we think that the bodyguards will take on the kids?
No, I think it goes back to the dads.
You think it goes back to the dad?
Yeah.
I would think it's gonna go back to
brother now.
A little bit here.
He'll wake up from his blood coma.
Like 1 chapter of kids, 3 chapters of dad.
I think
1 chapter of kids, 3 chapters of
dad.
I think it's gonna end up being they go back to the dad, and then we find out like basically the events that happened after the 2 showed up, because like the dad's gonna be like, "What happened to my kids?"
Oh, you think he'll wake up and he'll be back at the association and he'll be like, all right, let me go find the kids, and they're not at home?
More than that, I think they might be like injured or something, or like he'll find out one way or another from the kids.
So we're gonna off screen these 2 guys.
We're gonna off screen death. So
we're going to off screen them is what's gonna happen.
Okay, I kind of had the idea that I figured the kids would either have to get squared up by these guys, or those 2 would show up and then Uncle Ock shows up because he's watching the kids as well.
Oh, if it is Uncle Ock, I mean that's fine.
Well, because I mean that's.
I'd be mad if Uncle Ock shows up. Because I still want to see what he's got.
Well, because I know that he's got. Well, because he hired the brother mercenary to basically run the underground streets, and Ock is supposedly basically being the bookkeeper for it, but he's also supposed to be watching the kids while he's out of town, so he doesn't have to worry about them potentially being kidnapped again. So it would kind of be fun, not too funny if like Ock shows up here at this random time. It's like, yeah, I'm always watching you guys just in case, because I know you little motherfuckers are mischievous. You like to do some shit.
Care about your little shits. Okay?
Well, I don't want to get my teeth kicked in by your dad either, but that's here nor there.
That's another story for later.
But yeah, so I thought it would be great to see that happen instead, because it's been a while since we've seen Uncle show up anywhere. Granted, we do know he's in the background in the city somewhere.
Either Uncle Ock or even just the old man.
I would wait probably for the old man to pop out. I don't think he would let his presence be known just so soon. Just because he's still keeping quite a bit of a lid of what he actually is, even from her. Because I mean, even he's told her the truth, but she still thinks it's all a story.
Yeah.
So
I mean, his one student is gonna be in trouble here, depending on how strong these guys are.
I mean, we haven't really seen how powerful she truly is. She's kind of played off exactly the level of ability she has. So. Either way, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Hopefully we get at least another chapter with the kids to see some more. I just want to see little one just fuck someone shit up. Cause she's, every time they basically all get close to doing something, they off screen it or they go away. We just had that one panel of her just wrecking all like was 6 kids because her brothers like just couldn't stand out. So I kind of want to see what she does if she really pushes all the way through. But yeah, so not too much to cover outside of that on this chapter. We only got one, surprisingly, in the 2-week break, but hopefully I'm gonna guess this one dropped last week, so we'll probably end up getting one like this weekend, if not right before. So we'll see. We'll definitely keep an eye out on that, but we'll move on here since we got one group of kids fighting. Let's go to the next group of kids that are fighting off up in the heavens with the god of Highschool. Satan, Odin, and no, don't, before you say anything, Satan, Odin, and everyone here is on deck now to finally try and rock someone's ship.
We got Humpty Dumpty in here too, man.
Yeah.
But while out, we have
okay. This is the part of the story where we probably should have been in once the gate was opened. Everyone shows up, and everyone's ready to fight.
Everybody's ready to throw hands.
before you say that, this is probably where it should have started once the gate actually opened, because right away, the first thing in here, we get all the Valkyries and they start talking shit, and it's brought right up. There's no way that we would bow to you. You're not a god. I don't know why we made this god monster contract in the first place, and everyone just goes out. So, and granted, I know that going in there, I knew right away, seeing all the panels for it, I was like, I know how this is going to end, because all of you are weaker than Satan. And he pretty much just rocks Satan. So, and he says that very well too. Mookhyang Park, or I don't know if we want to call him that anymore. If he's just not.
Park, yeah.
Is it still
Mookhyang Park?
Is he still Mookhyang Park, or is he Maharata now?
No, he's still Mookhyang Park.
Okay. Targathi. He is the supreme god, as he's supposed to be in his current state.
He's still Mookhyang, bitch.
Okay. And also before, when I remember Ark bringing up that he was not wanting to kill everyone, but Odin actually states in here right away in one of the chat bubbles that he's like, okay, I get it. You want to kill everybody because everyone on Earth betrayed you. You hate all the gods, but that just makes you just as bad as us.
The story is getting like kind of messy here, because like no one has so Mookhyang Park doesn't have like this exact thing he wants to do anymore. He's kind of like bouncing back and forth, being like, okay, so do you want to kill everyone? Do you not want to kill everyone?
Well, I mean, the idea of your plan, if you look at it, the plan is like, I'm just going to kill everyone that's not powerful enough to survive it. Well, it's like, you are literally the strongest being. You are literally the strongest being in pretty much the perceived universe. If you do anything, no one should be able to basically survive it. So
the plan is, if they survive, they survive. And then I'm like, see, this seems like a really bad idea.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you really don't want anyone to survive. You're just saying that like there's an off chance you may survive. It's like you just want to really kill everybody. Let's get semantics out of the way here. But yeah, it's not too convoluted. I can't follow that part. I will say the messiness comes in in some of the panels. There are some things where I think action may have skipped a bit. That kind of threw me off. But yeah. So all of the gods get a cross in their chest. They're all pretty much KO'd, one shot. We get this. Mori is still on the side, completely held down by Odin's bike, which I was guessing not his actual horse.
No, it is,
which is funny because it wasn't. No, because he ends up riding it later. You see him in a shot with Odin's horse, but he's still held up and bound by the scooter. So I guess it was just supposed to be like a fake replacement. It's not the real thing. But either way, yeah. So, but the whole point of this is get the whole climax is we get Odin basically doing a one-man standoff against Mookhyang Park, and he's basically doing the final, like, I'm gonna do everything before let the two last hopes escape. And we get these like build-up panels for that.
I never understood why Odin was like, hey, the monkey key here is our last hope. And I'm like, okay, at what point did you
suddenly change that? Change your allegiance to what this really is?
It was like, okay, I see the way of my error here. I'm like, I'm very curious as to when this happened. I'm so sorry.
Well, it wasn't so much. It's seeming
after Ragnarok, he's just sitting there like, man, I should really be on the Monkey King's side, huh?
It doesn't seem like it was really. Yeah.
After that happened,
it took time. The gods are never good at really contemplating their own problems, but it really doesn't seem that it was just basically saving Mori Jin as much as it was saving Satan. He says that line where he's like, I really wanted to see how far this person would go, or how far this kid would go, excuse me. And he basically sends them off, and he gets ready to throw the last punch to basically just meet Oblivion head on. And then that's the confusing part where it comes in is just out of nowhere, Daiwi shows up and just sucker punches Mookhyang Park out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay.
the Jade Emperor. The
Yeah.
ruler of humanity.
No. The problem I had with this was when Odin was talking to Jin, he was like, "Watch closely. I'm gonna show you a secret." And I was like, "You're being an asshead, isn't you?" I don't know what
I don't know what secret
I'm not
trying
sure
to
what the
tell
secret
here,
is.
but you're fucking getting your shit kicked in, bud. Are you kidding me?
You have to watch closely.
It's
It's the secret we can't see.
At what point did he actually show like Jin anything that would like we did?
Okay. I'm gonna tell you. You have to look real close, real close. If you look at the top of his head, there's a real tiny Hayate on the top of his head. If that doesn't move, he'll win. That's all. That's the secret.
My goodness.
Either way, yeah. So
I'm the only one who was trying to figure out what he was trying to teach him, right? Because there wasn't like any point where
I had to reread the freaking panels like.
I did too. I didn't know what he was trying to refer to. I don't know if it's maybe something I'm missing from one of the panels, or if it's just like it's the fact that every time he gets knocked down, he keeps getting back up, even though he knows he's gonna get wrecked if it's trying to. So that
his whole point is to tell him that you need to try and not give up. I'm like, that's the what he was doing the entire time. I don't know what you're trying to teach here.
I'm not sure.
You held his ass back to tell him to not give up when you're telling him to give up. Hold up. You can't beat him, Monkey King. What do you mean?
Oh yeah. So either way, the whole thing plays out. Daiwi's now in the fight. Mira is still back on the ground, and she is 100% fully in control of the final piece that he needs. Apparently, she has the sword, which he can't. Yeah, which he can't call to her. He can't call to himself as long as she holds it. It seems so.
And it'd been really good if this was foreshadowed that we knew this sword was a part of this piece or whatever it is, you know.
We did know that the sword was part of the piece because we've been foreshadowed at least twice on that. Tabitha was originally was it Tabitha's sword, the Indonesian god. It was originally his sword because we see the we see the history of him going to the smith to get it made, and he brings a body of like over 1,000 people to make the sword. It's the same person who made Mori Jin's armor suit.
Okay. So
we already know that it's important to that. Yeah.
Maybe I just wanted something a little bit more obvious that it was like, yeah, this is important. I'm like, oh, is it?
Well, we knew it was one of the pieces of Tabitha. We knew of that. So we already kind of had that foreshadow. We just don't know exactly the importance of it, how far it is, like if he needs it to fully complete himself, because it's not in like the.
I thought it was one of the 10 weapons or whatever it was.
It seems to be one of the weapons that he has, but I don't think it's a part of like the mythos that we've been given that like he needs it or anything to complete the full legend. Because the only thing that so far that we've seen that he was missing, which he got again, was the red wings, which is which was the next part that he's supposed to, fly over all of creation. But I'm guessing the sword will play some level of importance that he needs it. He just needs it to complete the ensemble. I don't know. He might be that kind of person. But either way. So I'm going to guess in the later chapters that Mira is going to become a target for him, that he's going to have to go to her to get that back. So it'll be a race to either protect her or keep her away until what I'm going to guess is complete the next form of training in order to take him on.
The story has been stretched for so long.
It's not done yet. It's not done yet.
Too much training arcs within training arcs, man.
I mean, we're it's hard to tell if we're at an apex or we've already like overshot it and we're just kind of like continuously trying to climb and are really just going straight forward and nowhere else. But yeah, so we'll still, we're going to keep covering it. We're at that end point. We're just waiting for them to just cut it off to finally get us to the exact point of where we're trying to get to for the goal here. But yeah, so still more to cover with that one, still more to come. Hopefully with the later chapters, we'll get back on pace to something that gets us to a satisfying end. But let's move on here to our next one. Since we went up so high, let's go down so low with the Descent of the Demonic Master. Homeboy. I don't know if it was Was it me or was it you, Jimmy, that made the prediction for this one?
About
the car, about who was actually doing the car accident, what it was actually.
Oh, it was both of us. We were
okay.
Probably gonna be the association.
Yeah. Okay, because I remember one of us saying that we think it was probably the fan doing it again, but no, it was the association members, and they were out to kidnap his sister. Yeah. So, Little Anna gets kidnapped, held by some association goons. It seems to be the same association goons that went and sent Astray after him. And
it was the same dude, but
it seemed like it was the same boss, but it wasn't the same like villain dudes. It was the same boss who seemed extra freaked out.
The underling of the big boss.
Yeah. And but yeah, so they just come up with now this very, very half-assed plan to just kidnap his sister, get her to call him, and basically bring him to an unknown, unmarked warehouse in the middle of nowhere, which I don't know why they think this was a good idea. Granted, they seem to like talk off Astray. Like they brought like, why, this is the kind of shit we send Astray for. It's like, Astray's dead. And plus, he's terrible at the job. He's not really a demonic cultivator. He's just completely taken over it. They seemed like they talked off like exactly how dangerous Astray was. So you figure that these guys were some level higher.
They were hyping themselves up.
They were trying really hard, but
and then the MC shows up with his Lamborghini, blasting through the doors, man. Kicks the door wide.
He kicks the door off after breaking through, after just crashing through this warehouse, and but he doesn't do the solo leveling Junwoo thing and talk to the bad guys. No, he goes over to his sister, he unties her, he gets them both in the car, he tells them, "I'll be out in a minute." And when they go to chase after his sister, he throws the fucking Lamborghini door at him and basically goes, "Oh, no. We're not done here yet."
Oh, wait. You stay here. You're with me, not there.
Now, I don't think that I feel oddity by this, but the chapter itself turns from like bloody to comical. So like the very first opening move he does on one of the dudes is he pimp slaps his head off. He just backhands this dude and his head falls on the ground. And I'm like, oh, we're going that far.
I love how all the other minions, like the guys behind them, they see their buddy's head come off and just go, "Oh, we can still fight."
Yeah, like I'm just like,
what's up?
What? Why is your reaction? Oh, that's just some whack shit. We can take it. He just bitch slapped a dude's head off. What the fuck are you thinking? I just had no context for what the hell these dudes were on, or what they're smoking, or what they got.
They were on that video game Fearless minion status.
It must have been.
You know what I mean?
I don't know, but it just basically turned comical after that point, with Homeboy just tossing them around, just completely thrown around. Also, I noticed his hair went from black back to red.
No, I don't know if it actually went back to red. It was like a shadow of himself going back to red. Because in the later panels, his hair goes back to black too, though.
Well, in the earlier panels, it's in black. But as you go through the rest of the panels, his hair is red all the way through into the end.
In the beginning, it has it where his hair
is black. His hair is black in the beginning panels, all the way up until him getting
red in like one panel.
Well, it turns like an orange. It turns like a reddish black. And then in one panel, you see it where it's like half red, half black. And then when he's like in full fired up, it's completely red. So it's like it's basically showing like him going back to his old style. Granted, I figured it would have been kind of like the Astray fight or the one dude in the park. It was going to end up like that. But this is just basically a comical fight of him just running through these dudes. And I don't know if it's because he's just trying not to kill all of them because he wants to get information. But he's basically, it ends off with him about to KO someone straight into the ground pile driver style. So
and he Batista bombed his ass.
Yeah, one of them is definitely another one is definitely done.
His ass is going to the Earth's core, dog.
So I mean, just not to, there isn't like a whole lot to just grip on this outside of just homeboy losing his shit again. But do we see with this one now that we have another attempt by the association to deal with him? Do we see him now going at least on the assault and going after the association because now they've directly attacked his sister?
Maybe.
Because, I mean, he's basically put it off twice. He's already had the one group show up, and they've tried to talk to him nicely, and he straight up chokeslammed that chick. A stray got sent after him. He took care of a stray, which surprisingly, his comment that he said before of "I'm not going to kill you" turned out not to be accurate. And now this is the second time. But instead of going after him, they went after a family member. And that seems to have been his like main goal of don't fuck with them the most.
Yeah, so that's like, I can see him going after the association right after this because at this point it's personal.
Yeah.
Like if it's just going after him, then he's just like, all right, whatever, I can take care of whatever comes at me. Mm-hmm. But if you go after my family, I'm gonna take it personally, and your entire association is gonna get dicked. Mm-hmm. Raw dogged, no lube. You know, like absolutely fucked.
Yeah, I
so like
definitely.
This next chapter, I could just see him grabbing the head of the blonde guy and going, "So, where's your association at? I want to go have a chat with the people inside." You know.
Yeah, I definitely could see that coming up. Not to mention, you know, him. Well, with his sister going back home, if she's gonna be able to keep quiet about it either. Like if she's not going to say anything, or you know, she gets back home and military homeboy hears about it, and he goes, "Oh, okay, so we got to strap up."
Yeah, I could see the military homeboy like getting the whole crew together.
Yes, yeah. You know, did we get a whole crew?
All the military crew together
to roll up.
Because like most of the people in the military, anyways, that we saw, they were all fans of Seraph.
Yes.
Right. So they hear that Seraph almost got kidnapped. The whole military
comes through to back it up.
Roll it in with tanks, roll it in with the M4s, dog, everything.
I mean,
the whole 9 mile. They got the 9 bangs out there and shit, dude, throwing it in.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me with the way that this whole thing went out if the author doesn't go with something that ridiculous and insane. Because I mean, why not? Why exactly not? Yeah, but yeah, homeboy is on the tear. Hopefully with the next chapter we'll see either we'll get him doing some interrogation skills, or we're just gonna get, you know, send the rat back to the nest and I'll follow and I'll just deal with this right now. But yeah, so
I would really like to see him trying to like take over the guy's mind, because we already seen him go.
Yeah, we have seen him
with torturing methods.
Yeah, we have seen him already basically completely waste a civilian mentally. I don't know if it'll work as well on trained individuals as much, because it doesn't seem like any of them have any fear sense coming off from just the looming death.
So scared because like you saw the paws in their
they noticed
in there. We saw that. So like this dude as just looking through the broken doorway, just looking at as his homies get sent to the Earth core.
Yeah.
Man, maybe we shouldn't have done this.
Yeah, this probably wasn't the best idea go around, but either way, I just keep enjoying everything that I get out of that series. It's just hilarious, nice, soul-healthy.
Incredible.
Yeah, it keeps me coming back every other week for the new chapters for sure. So
gets me hooked.
Yeah,
it's a fun read.
It is a fun read. Definitely for everyone out there, if they're reading that one, hit us up in the comments for how you're liking that. If you're not, pick it up. For sure, pick it up. It is a good read all around.
Read it right now. Pause the video. Read it.
Yes,
right now.
yes. Pause it, come back, and then give us thanks.
Back.
Give us thanks for what we put you on to there. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll keep moving along here, trucking to the next one. Since we were with one master, let's go see a king in his natural habitat at the beginning after the end. We are still not at the academy yet. We're almost there. We're almost there.
But it's super cool how like in the previous chapter we got to see, you know, his dad absorb everything, and then the beast will rejects him because he's not the same element.
Okay. It wasn't the beast will that rejected Arthur.
No, not Arthur.
Oh, okay, no, his
I'm talking about his dad.
Okay, yeah, you're right. All right. Yeah,
because it wasn't the same elements, but we know Arthur is pretty much master of all 4 elements.
Yeah, I mean? he is very much the Avatar. But yes, he couldn't take the beast will, and even though he did contemplate it.
No, yeah, he contemplated.
He tried.
No, the dragon wouldn't let him.
Yes.
I don't think it wouldn't let him. He was just like, I just don't know if this is worth the effort.
No, he attempted
to consume him.
Yeah, he tried to, and the dragon tried to consume him.
He attempts once, but it's not like he was like, yeah, I think I shouldn't do this again. He was just like, I think it's just better for me to like give it to someone else.
Well, I mean, I would think that one power is greater than the other. It's not going to play second fiddle to a weaker form. So it's just going to push it out, or it's just going to consume it to make itself stronger. And I think that was the overall takeaway he got from it.
Yeah.
Rather than waste it and gain a little bit more power, he's like, well, someone else could use this. And he makes that comment right away. He's like, there is someone I know that is also an affinity to wind, or affinity to the earth. And pretty much that's probably going to be a gift for Tessa. This very much seems like that. Yeah, well, already, I mean, we know. We've already been foreshadowed twice that this is going to happen. But we move on from him not in consuming the beast will to grabbing his, I guess we should just call him his uncle now because it's his dad's best friend.
Vincent, yeah.
Vincent, he's just Uncle Vincent. Taking him over to a shop, but actually a laboratory with, once again, a very weird, kooky scientist.
It's always a kooky scientist.
Twice. Also in The Great Mage, this very same chapter, we got him meeting with another kooky scientist as well. So it just must have been that week. So all the way kooky, just clothes on the floor, a complete mess, blacked eyes, doesn't sleep apparently, smells like everything.
Isn't that smell?
Yeah. I mean, you do what you do for the progress. But Arthur gets there, and he seems like he's looking for something in particular, and that's why he brought him to the dude. And he basically asked him, what he could offer, and essentially Arthur sketches out basically a modern day engine, because Homeboy seems to be in this world trying to work on basically making a engine or a device to move vehicles without using mana. And he basically gives him the blueprints for one without completely sketching out the full functions of it, and snatches away and tells him that he'll give him these if he gets something in return. Now, the thing is, through most of that part of the chapter is we don't know exactly what it is that Arthur's looking for. I thought he was going in possibly looking for another, using his ever-known negotiating skills, trying to find some other leverage he could for school. That's what I figured it was trying to go for, but it wasn't.
He just said that he was looking for a gift for his sister.
A gift for his sister. It's a birthday gift. But yeah, he basically starts throwing like everything he can at him, every precious little thing. You see Vincent just on the ground, just like awing at all of the items that he could have for the guild.
Take my shit, goddammit!
He just throws shit at him, and Arthur's just like, nope.
That's kind of useless for me. This can detect people this far away. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can do that like by myself. It's fine.
I mean, the OP character not needing tools because he is OP, but he makes it to the final object, which was a pair of pendants that was supposedly going to the royal family. Very specifically, allowing the users to, whoever has it, basically if they get mortal damage, it'll teleport them away to a safe area that they know of. So he basically makes the deal to get one of these.
No, he makes a deal for both of them.
Does he? Oh no, that's right, he does. Because the demon thing, he's like, no, I'm not. I don't play like that. That's right. So he does take both. Granted, he tried to negotiate down for the blueprints for this engine. So all this entire chapter basically is a giant setup for birthday gifts for his sister and his mom. So still off a little bit for the school, but we are introduced at least to another character, which I'm going to guess is going to play some level of importance later on for Arthur, possibly, because he seems to always stretch his network of unique individuals that he has access to.
To make more and more connections, man.
I mean, once again, this is another individual that is also connected to the current royal family as well. So, granted, he's already met them, and I'm sure he's not on the greatest of speaking terms after basically threatening the king and knocking the shit out of one of their knights. But yeah, so him continuing to build his circle of trustees to slowly take over. So I'm guessing with this we'll get maybe one more chapter of Wholesome, and will be his little sister's birthday right before he leaves for the academy.
We'll see what happens.
I'm sure. Well, granted, I'm sure you already know because you're reading the light novel ahead of all of us.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, because.
What? I know a little bit. I don't know what you're about.
You're not. So what you're saying is you're not a jerk. No. Oh, all right.
I stay quiet all the time.
You try. You do that much. Jimmy, what do you got here for predictions on the next chapter?
I just want to start school.
You just want to get to the school.
I just want to get to the school.
You just want to see Tessa. Like, that's what it really is. You don't care about the school. You just want to see Tessa.
Well, that, and I want to see how the other students would par up against Arthur. Especially if they're like head honcho, top tier students. I want to see how versed they're going to be against Arthur. Because we know Arthur is able to take on a AA class. No problem. He's able to instill fear in a AA class.
Yes.
But will the top 3, students, because every school arc there's always the top 3 students.
Yeah, 3 or 4. The Heavenly Kings are somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see how well they're gonna be compared to this, to give Arthur more self challenge.
Yeah, he does kind of need another bit of a challenge to go up against for this. Granted, he hasn't been 100%, OP above everything. He has gotten pretty well down to the point where if he was in the wrong place after doing something, he could easily be killed. But yeah, so it will be nice to see some of the other talent within the kingdom, since the academy will have a collection of not only kids from, just kids from this kingdom, but kids from the other kingdoms as well.
The Kingdom, the Elven Kingdom, and then various other kingdoms that are probably out there, because they're finally agreed to have all these nations to be able to attend the school. Yeah,
exactly.
Higher end students.
Well, and also the big reveal from this chapter with our homeboy scientist is that he's trying to build this engine specifically because they believe there is another continent out there.
Not to believe, they know.
Well, they know. I mean, they haven't gotten proof yet. At least he hasn't shown. So, we also have that on the back burner as well. So this could lead, granted, I'm guessing that this is just foreshadowing for his adventure after school, at least what's going to come beyond that. But yeah, so I do want to get to the school arc as quickly as possible. I know we got some things to deal with coming with Lucas and his whole family. We'll get Tessa back in the mix. We'll also get Vincent's daughter back in the mix here. Not to mention, I'm sure we'll see a few other people pop up to give Art some more props that he probably doesn't really need, but we'll definitely take as much as possible. Anything else on that chapter that I probably missed or y'all two want to bring out there?
No.
Nope. All right. Well, we can go ahead. We'll move on here to our next one. Since we were with one kid's of schools, let's go talk to some other kids in school already dealing with Inso's law. Not some sad chapters here, but some conflict, a lot of conflict in these recent chapters. Seraph, what you got up on that?
Seeing between Li-Ru-Da and Dan-I, they were, and seeing the students go, oh, so did you say yes to Li-Ru-Da confessing to you? And she just goes, huh?
I don't see it. What confession? What are you talking about?
Need a confession. That was just us being friendly.
That's what they do in America, right? That's what they always do. So, over here, we just kiss everybody for whenever. Yeah.
Right on the cheeks, dude.
Right on the cheeks.
All the time. And then somehow Ray somehow gets into her room, barges in there while she's hiding in their little hidey hole.
I mean,
you want to go get some ramen?
It's Yang. Why that girl's got a homing device on her every time.
I swear to God, she probably has a tracking device.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't put it past her to do so.
It really wouldn't surprise me at all. But yeah, so we saw with Lee and the whole situation that she's trying to deal with there, and trying to sweep that under the rug. But she ends up her and Yuri end up going back to her room with the other Heavenly Kings, and that's when she's informed, like homeboy's missing, and it's because he's been out on the patio this entire time. And she goes out there and tries to confront him to figure out what's the whole situation, and he basically drops another confession on her, but like in kind of a roundabout manner.
Very
and as always, with our MC, just if it's not, even if it's very obviously and blatant to her face, she takes it as a joke from them, and basically just like slaps him across the face and tells him that he shouldn't mess with people like that, and walks off. So yeah,
I'm not feeling well. I'm gonna go back tomorrow.
Yep.
I just have my feelings played with me here.
It's hard to tell how much of how far she's fallen into the story for it herself, just because she's like, she tries to keep to the idea that she doesn't want to be with anybody because of the chance that it's just going to hurt her once it finally does occur that she ends up disappearing from this world and they're all gone and they've forgotten about her. But it seems that she still keeps slipping into every one of her own tropes that she tries to avoid, or at least she doesn't acknowledge some of the more obvious ones when they come up to her anymore. So
she doesn't acknowledge a lot of the things. Like, she's purposefully not acknowledging the fact that these guys like her.
Well, and definitely
she
sometimes
it secretly knows that
it may be, but she hasn't given, at least to us as the readers, there is no like visual that she knows that this is occurring. She seems to be just as like dumbfounded about some of the actions that come out, and mostly it's because it's like, this is something straight out of a fucking JoJo. The hearts of everyone just playing with all the strings.
Literally all of them.
So now we've got, well, essentially two straight out confessions. Granted, Lee Ruda, she's just always gonna brush her off, or him off, constantly, because and now with our other homeboy basically kind of doing the same thing, him trying to at least express any feeling that he can to get it across. And granted, this is supposedly the second time he's done it, because he's done it before and she just over the head.
I mean, she's kind of stupid.
She's a little dense. She is a little dense. So now we've got two different confessions. Are we going to start seeing more of these other confessions start popping out from the other kings? Start causing some more friction, or are we going to see them like back up homeboy, since he's kind of trying to put himself out there now?
I saw the ship with blue hair and dead eye.
That's what you got.
Wait, what's your ship, Art?
I don't have a ship. I don't ship.
He doesn't ship. You don't ship. Really?
I ship. The only time I ever ship is when it's like a logical thing, and like the way the writing the story is, and then I have a problem when the writer doesn't do it that way. Like
this is logically supposed to happen. Why didn't you make this happen?
Like in Bleach, I never had like, I'm like, no, Ichigo should end up with Orihime, and everyone's like, wait, what are you talking about? I'm like, because there was someone totally better than Orihime, because that plot was like set up so long ago, and I was like, who do you mean? You mean his childhood friend who grew up with him and who totally had this thing where it's like, hey, you need to tell me what's happening, like when you get back from like handling your shit. And I'm like, see, this seems like this should be the ship, right? Right? Just like how like in Naruto, I'm like, no. As far as like, I'm not saying Hinata is not the better girl than Sakura.
There we go.
Was that Naruto should have ended with Sakura? Why? Because Naruto was like, "Hey, Dad, this is my girlfriend Sakura," and his dad was like, "Hey, I give you guys my blessing because Sakura here reminds me of your mom." And I was like, "Oh, that was perfectly fine," because he immediately did this right after Hinata confessed her love to him, and he was like, it's fine. I'm gonna go introduce Sakura to my dad now. All right? And I was like, this is how this writing should be. Okay, I do not do ships. Okay, I just have problems with the writer doesn't write well, okay.
Arc would just ruin a soap opera for people. This relationship does not clearly work for this. It's not logically set up. I want to get him in front of.
You want romance in your story? You have to earn it, okay? You don't just fucking be like, well, I'm just gonna throw these two together here. And I'm like, when? How? You can't do this.
I mean, you totally can. You just can. So yeah. Well, what's up, Seraph? You look like you're holding it in.
Nah, I just got a message.
Just
I was supposed to be doing something tomorrow, but I forgot about it.
Womp womp. Well, we won't hold you up too long with that. We only got a few more to go here. Yeah. So either way, still a nice little fun chapter to move through with Inso. We're still gearing up, trying to get through the I don't know what we call this. The school. It's not the school break. The school field trip here. Of torment for her. Hopefully we'll see either something pop up from one of the other kings, or we'll see something come out between these two, since we know very much, surprisingly, the two people that are confessing to her right now are also two people that very much hate each other so far, and she thinks it's a lover's quarrel between them.
A joke all around.
So much, so much. But yeah. We'll go ahead and move on to our next one. Since we were with one lady, let's check to another in Mookhyang, the Dark Lady. Homeboy Dark went back home, went back to his homestead up in the mountains where he first descended.
Cabin.
What's up? It's in the mountains. They say the mountains.
Yeah, the cabin.
I'm not wrong. To speak with the family again. And very generously offer them lodging in his new abode in the castle, specifically to work there, since he doesn't kind of have any staff at all. And
it's just one beast lady.
Yep, just the one. Well, that and his trusty mercenaries. But this did do exactly what I thought was going to happen, where he does offer the jobs to the family. And of course, the two kids are super ecstatic and want to do this, as always. But when it gets to the dad and he rejects the offer because, they don't think that they would know how to handle themselves inside of a royal court, let alone.
No, it wasn't that. It was because he belongs to, because Dark belongs to the kingdom, to the empire now.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, we don't want any part of this because this is a bad idea. And then Dark was like, you would rather stay out in the fucking wilds here and get threatened and killed by monsters and stuff?
Well, it's only because the wilds have been getting worse. They were out there before he arrived and they were fine. It's only now that things are starting to become a little bit more dangerous. And Dark explains that, and of course appeals to the more wiser person of the family with the mom. And she basically overturns and says, yeah, I don't want to live out here with the high chance of, being killed by whatever is lurking in the woods.
Or, losing my husband or my kids.
Yes, to something out here. So the whole family does pack up and head to the castle. Of course, the son is just so eager to want to join the knights as quickly as he goddamn can. But they basically get a breakdown of the family talking about all the skills they have, and more or less they each individually make out to one or two different workers that they would need in the castle right now, since they don't have anyone else until Dark hopefully finds some more retainers. But yeah, so he's slowly bringing more people back, at least from the past, in here. So I'm guessing we're gonna get some later chapter shenanigans between him and the daughter and him and the son for sure. He introduced them to the cat maid. He hasn't introduced them to the rest of the knights, it seems, yet. But I'm sure they'll each end up running into one another here pretty shortly. The chapter does end out with Dark going into one of the rooms of the castle and bringing out his Titan. Now,
yeah, it ends with him summoning the Titan.
Summoning the Titan. So I don't know if this is just next level training to see how he can handle it now that he's got a little bit. He actually has perfect, at least not perfect, but more knowledge and clarity on how magic works in this world with his training from the dragon. And he does seem to have a little bit more. Well, he does have a actual mana source on his finger that he could probably have it pull from rather than just directly from him. So we'll have to see if this next chapter will be training mode or if he's going to be just talking to the Titan now. Because I believe it does have its own consciousness, right?
Yes.
Okay. The Titan does have its own consciousness. Yeah.
So we'll see what that brings forth.
Mecha training arc.
Mecha training, yeah. I mean, we had a mini training arc prior with him and the dragon, but that was more like it was like family training arc.
This is the mecha.
This is where we get back to the mechas.
This is the mecha. This is what's important here.
This is where we change complete genres. This is no longer a fantasy novel. This is now a sci-fi. This is now a sci-fi action hunter.
This is Gundam.
Oh God,
actually,
no.
I would see it more as Titanfall than anything.
Maybe. I mean, they don't have to kill a number of people and fall from the sky. They just come through portals from nowhere. Yeah.
Same shit, different way.
I guess. But either way, yeah. So, how about you two? What have would you pull out in this entire chapter so far?
Nothing really.
Nothing. I mean, we did only get one. It wasn't too long of a chapter, and it was more fill in for everything that's to come. Do we possibly see, especially with him having at least one Titan, do we see him maybe, if there's any other Titans in the castle, do we see him maybe
no, I think he's going
to out?
I think is he going to end up handing them out? I don't know. No,
I he's like own mercenaries.
I mean, that's what I would say. Like,
no, I don't think the kingdom, the empire would trust his men to have it.
Really? You think not? I mean, they did give him a new title.
I think,
and it would be difficult to try and control. No, not just control, but to defend lands with just only that.
Of course, they gave him a new title. Like, why would you not give him a new title when, like, he basically effectively escaped and then just decided to come back? I was like, I came back. Right?
He didn't really effectively do anything. He got knocked the fuck out and taken. So.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that he could have left at any point. He didn't need to come back. So they could have just been like, he could have just left, and they're like, yeah, he just like, he's gone. Like, when he came back, that's like a proof of loyalty. But with his mercenary men, the problem is, remember, they have the one guy who's like too eloquent for his own good, and they're like, yeah, let's find out about him first. I'm not saying like his men will never get Titans. What I'm saying is, like, as of right now, no, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah, because there's one mysterious man from a whole
they're like,
country.
yeah, there's this one guy who knows way too much for his own good. So like, let's figure this out first before we even do anything with them. Really, just assign them to Dark because they know Dark, and we'll figure it out from there.
Well, I'm sure he was negotiating to get them at least back at some point in any manner, since they're pretty much one of the only few people he trusts within the entire kingdom besides anyone else. So it does make sense. Yeah. So. Yeah, like I said, not too much to grapple on with that. It was a pretty pretty cut and clean chapter. Just throwing in a few more elements. There's more to really kind of try and pick and then maybe speculate what we'll get in the future. We're still trying to bring the kingdom up to speed. He's, like I said, the whole point of at least this story bit is him trying to actually, make that part of the kingdom flourish and profitable in some manner. So it's still a little bit ways to go. Still more people to bring in. So we'll keep an eye on that. See how the lady handles their way through this new trial. But we'll move on here over into our next one. Let's actually jump over into the land of Olympus with some lore Olympus on our hands. I believe it's you and I, Seraph, that have read ahead, right? So we have to make sure. I think I haven't read ahead since. I think we're only one chapter ahead now. right now.
I'm
so
like
there's been a new chapter. I haven't seen anything. What I missed?
Pretty sure there's no. I haven't read that one. There's a new chapter ahead. Like if you want to pay for it. So,
I'm trying to remember.
Because
in
right
the
now,
latest chapter, it starts off with Hermes looking at Thanatos like, "Hey, yo, you shouldn't be."
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay,
with.
I know. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So.
And then we get like Zeus going off into the mortal realm to go see where, what's her name? The meter
Artemis
lives. The meter lives.
Well,
they go to where the meter lives, but Zeus finds Artemis, and then Apollo's like, "Hey, Dad, I want to talk to you about this shit." And I was like, "Man, Apollo, you're such a shitty character. I know Greek and Roman gods are supposed to be shitty characters, but man, you're a shit. You're a shitbag. I hate you so much."
I mean, between him and Minith, I don't know. Those two are both some horrible fucking characters.
I know Zeus is like a dick, but like he's not like a shitty Zeus. You understand? Like it's really weird.
Shitty Zeus. How do you become a shitty Zeus?
You can be a shitty
You're
Zeus.
already Zeus, so you're already shitty. How do you become a shittier version of that?
Zeus is not
Yeah, but
as shitty as he is in the lore.
Yeah, this Zeus he's a dick, but he's not like a shithead though. Like he's not like, man, I completely hate Zeus. I'm just like, yeah, but this is Zeus. Like he's just a fucking horn dog.
He's a
total shitbag.
Yeah. Well, Zeus is exactly.
Apollo takes it a step further. He's like, yeah, because Zeus is like, I have the decency to at least seduce the women I fuck. Okay, Apollo is like, yeah, I totally raped this girl, and I was like, yeah, that is not cool at all. I don't know what you.
There's our across the screen trigger warning for
that.
that.
Of her. He takes pictures of her too.
While she's passed out.
And then threatens her with it, and I was like, yeah, see that you're a douchebag. Stop it.
Okay, so now that we've really bedrocked down to Apollo's true nature for this, and how much we should all hate it, how much we should all truly hate Apollo.
Man, if anybody likes Apollo, man.
I'm not here nor there for that. I'm not about that. Apollo's meeting up with Pops, trying to. Basically, his goal is to try and get Zeus on his side to persuade Hera to give him more or less a marriage approval for Persephone. That's his entire bended goal. And so far, his skill set has been to manipulate people.
But Hera isn't going for it.
Well, Hera knows something because we saw before what happened. She very much knows with the vision what's going on, and she doesn't like this. She doesn't like this stepkid. She's very much hateful of this child. And even before, like when you were saying like not Hermes, but Apollo is a shitlord and Zeus is just shitty. We also do have to remember that Zeus is very much afraid of getting his shit kicked in by his other son.
Ares.
As we've seen. So
far we've seen Ares is on Persephone's side.
Oh yeah. Well, he's done some shit that kind of set a lot of this in motion.
He was doing it for fun, but he didn't know.
He didn't know how far it would go.
Ares at least apologized, and he didn't realize like how big of the situation is, because just like how all the gods can just sense it, right? Like just like how like Hera can sense like there's something wrong with Persephone, but like, she has no idea what it is, right? So like she's like,
she could sense something happened bad to somebody, and she narrowed it down to Persephone.
Yeah, but she has no idea what it is, right? That's the big thing. Where like Ares was like, no, Persephone is fucking mad, and I'm just gonna fuck with her, like, you know, for like being a person who's mad. Like,
well, I mean, it is his affiliation. He feeds on that. That's kind of what he goes for. But granted, he apologized for that, but he doesn't know how bad that actually turned out later on, because he kind of left after that whole situation. So, but with Apollo and Zeus basically talking, Apollo did play scapegoat for his sister Artemis, as she was about to be grilled by Zeus because he wanted to know what she was searching for there. So he was being unsecret good brother and letting her escape, but really, really to basically get the ear of his dad so he can try and get this deal underway. But before that, Zeus is stopped by Hermes, and he's kind of wondering what he's there for. And that's when he spills that, oh yeah, let me just tell you this story about something that Persephone did. And he goes, that's hilarious. Where'd you hear that from? And he basically tells him, oh yeah, all three of these gods basically told off this hilarious joke or this story that I'm trying to confirm. And we get that end chapter with Hermes running up on what is it? Thanatos. Just like, about.
Oh, hey, buddy! Remember what I said earlier
about you just keeping your shit closed? You clearly didn't take my advice. I do like that they've kind of really redone Hermes being with the messenger of the gods. Granted, they've also switched his role since he's being ferryman as well for the dead.
No, in lore, he is also sometimes a deliverer of death. But he's the messenger, right? So he would send a message of death. But like this, a step further than that. So
they've very much like rewritten him to be a little bit more into that role rather than just solely being a messenger for death. But yeah, the fact that he also plays like this seemingly like best friend, nice character for everybody. He's not really good nor bad on any side, but he will very much take a side when it's just you're being a complete piece of shit. And in this case, it's on Persephone's team for now. So
because Hermes knows the truth, though. Do you say that? Like Hermes knows, and he got paid off, and he was just like, I think it's just easier for me to get paid off than to get killed by Demeter, right?
Well, see, that's the thing. Is it loyalty for being a good person on his own and keeping the truth, or is it loyalty because I just don't want to be killed, supposedly? Because granted, if this gets out, it may also leak back to him. Because granted, with Demeter and Persephone,
it seemed like he was still cool with Persephone.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, he plays off that character that's just good with everybody. He's neither really, seen as bad or anything else. He's just, he's on everyone's good side, but he does at some level draw a line when it gets to that point. But yeah, so Thanatos is potentially going to get his shit kicked in. Minith hasn't been given the heads up that she basically has been outed because of that. And we know that I can't remember Zeus's assistant's name. The third one.
The shitty friend who Minth was like, "Nah, I'm not friends with you anymore." And
Minth tried to get rid of her, and then she
basically like, "Bitch, you know this girl's the most toxic thing ever. Why would you do this?"
I know her name.
Because I know she's the toxic thing. Thetis, yeah.
There you go.
She just straight up doesn't give a fuck.
She's a goddamn hoe. That's what it is.
She just does this for the goddamn lulz, really, as it is. So, so we've got now that mystery trying to slowly be unraveled. I don't know how far we'll follow along with that. At least Hermes either going through and, calling each one of them out. We still have Hades on the search for Persephone, along with Zeus and a few of the other gods trying to find out, where she's at. But things are starting to boil over in a few different ways. We know that the repercussions for all of this are very high, especially with this getting out with Zeus definitely probably going to punish not only her but also her mother, because you hid this very catastrophic thing that no one is supposed to undermine Zeus. But granted, Ares shows up, he just shuts the fuck up.
The biggest concern here is Hades trying to figure out and whether or not he's going to feel betrayed by Persephone and be like, wait, you guys did this and you guys basically like went behind my backs about the count of deaths and stuff. Like, I mean, it's not her fault. It's like definitely Demeter's fault, but like still.
Well, do you think that Hades would feel betrayed for that? Because granted, he knows about the sun influx. We actually get a comment about that.
Yes, but he doesn't like understand that it was like Persephone.
He doesn't understand that it was directly because of her.
And Persephone basically kind of is like hiding that fact still from him, but I don't think she knows that she's hiding the fact from him, though.
Yeah, I don't think she's very aware of that. So, I don't think that he would feel as betrayed as much as it seems like Zeus is feeling super hurt about the fact that everyone's keeping something from him, and is. I
mean, they're kind of not like if he just paid attention, like they literally told him.
I mean, okay. Oh, come on, we know for the way his character is done. If you don't literally say it to his face, you know he's not gonna get it. That's just how it is.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure his wife was like, bitch, I'm telling you, shit is wrong here. He's like, no, that's just a vision. I'm like, bitch, I'm like, what? This is what I'm known for. You stop it.
A vision is still a fucking vision, Zeus.
And Zeus is a hard-headed playboy asshole.
I'm just saying.
Are you though? But I mean,
you just can't have it both ways. Is what I'm saying.
You totally can. He's an idiot. Yeah. Well, hopefully within the next couple of chapters, we'll find Persephone. We'll get one that will at least show us, you know, what's going on in Persephone's world right now, what she's trying to do. I'm kind of surprised that Hades hasn't, amazingly enough, he has multiple dogs. I'm amazed he hasn't just gone to one of them and tried to locate them. I mean, Cerberus has found her multiple times randomly when she's trying to hide.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he's just not putting that together or whatnot. It's even funny because
2 and 2 that he has dogs
which is fucking hilarious, because one of the first things we see Artemis do is pull out Argos and give him a piece of a cloth in order to try and find Persephone. So
and Hades has like the ultimate dog out there.
Yeah. He's got quite a few of them. So hopefully he'll at some point, you know, that'll pop in his head or something. Maybe. I don't know. Everyone seems to be just a little bit off their levels at times here. Yeah. So anything else you guys wanted to bring up on that one for these two chapters of Lore Olympus? All right.
Eros and Hermes are true goats.
Eros and Hermes, yeah.
They're true goats, right?
Eros, that super friend that'll just bring you over and have some ice cream.
Everybody needs an Eros.
Everyone needs an Eros. I don't know.
This is still kind of Eros' fault, okay? Like, you said this still started basically.
A part of this is Eros' fault, but then it's also a partial of Hades' fault, as well as partial of, you know, Aphrodite's fault. Everyone's kind of like Russian nesting dolls in this, of like, a lot of this is somebody else's thing that they caused.
It's not Hades' fault for being like saying like, hey, that bitch is hot, and then Aphrodite's like, man, I'm in the room too, and like, no, that's not.
Oh, come on, it's totally his fault because he gave in to peer pressure, and you know it. If only he could just shake off that brotherly family curse for him. But yeah. All right, since we've already spoken of one mythological legend, let's go ahead and talk about some other legends with a Moonlight sculptor. W.E.B.T.O.O.N. Woo.
He's out here making grand masterpieces right off the rip.
I mean, you know, he's done so much art, and as we've known, he is a master of overdoing one's talent, so it's not surprising that he would pump out another great masterpiece, as he would. Not to mention his other sculptures are seemingly on the lookout for him. And
yeah, the wyverns.
The wyverns, which apparently were poorly designed because they can't fly very well against wind resistance.
They fly, okay? They just don't fly well.
I said they don't fly well.
They can still do their job.
It just takes a little bit more effort to do it. But
I'm starting to wonder what he's going to do with his golden statue version of himself.
Yeah, I was kind of weirded out by that. I was like, okay, so he made this statue of himself, making, you know, a sculpture, and he imbues it with life in order to make it even more truly authentic and more special. But I'm not exactly sure. Like, it seems like it's set
what's the game plan here?
It seems like it's set up to follow him around. So I don't know if essentially it seems like as long as people see it, it becomes more admired and it becomes more famous. So my guess is he's gonna have it strut around with him in the middle of this town, and we can clearly guess what's going to occur. We already got, prior to go back, from the last couple of chapters, we know that an expedition is on its way to head to the caverns so that they can basically take on the god there and stop the heat wave that's going across the entire continent. And when they get to this town, which is, once again, the most famous art town for the whole city, the first thing they try to do is they're going to start looking for blacksmith. And W.E.B.T.O.O.N is now specializing in blacksmithing skills because apparently the overgeared guy is not in this game. And of course, what would be one way to attract the most attention other than the fact that he's making incredibly high crafted items and selling them for less, and he has this magnificent statue that will basically become a more adorned and make him more famous. So that's what my guess is what the statue will be. I don't know if he's going to take it into battle at all. I would think not. It doesn't seem like the best thing to have as a familiar. Granted, he's already got the Dark Knight and the vampire as familiars. So where do we see Weed going for the next few chapters here? Just joining up with the military, or do we see him just making them weapons and getting all of his grands back since he lost it all in the previous fight? You don't know? How about you, Seraph? Thoughts, ideas, speculations? What would you like to see?
I would actually like to see him go back into his real world stuff going on. Like,
you want to go
his
back?
little sister going off to try and go find a school scholarship, and I want to see.
Well, it looks like she's about to go into interviews right now.
She's going to interviews to try and go get into schools and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see, W.E.B.T.O.O.N stuff going on for his school.
What he didn't know but secretly applied for.
Yeah, but he still has to go do that stuff eventually, right?
I would figure. I'm not sure when classes are supposed to start.
I pulled out the chapter to go read up on the gold statues things. And
yeah,
he seems pretty fucking overpowered.
I mean, it's definitely a very strong fighter, of course.
Very strong fighter. It can ignore damn near every type of magic.
Yep.
It can create luminous fire. But if you make too much fire, it's gonna melt its own body.
Yeah, so a detriment to one's own being, as itself as it would be.
But when it melts, he can turn it into anything else he wants.
Yes.
I just want to know how OP this thing is, and
I'm sure
however he's gonna make it work, he's gonna make it work.
I'm sure in the later chapters we'll see him do something stupid with it, for sure.
He could use this thing to solely take on the fucking heat wave massacre, but I don't know.
I mean, it seems like it would come in handy an object that literally has resistance to all magic, and not to mention is its own walking inferno. So what better to take on? What better to take on a fire god?
Because when he melts, he can turn back into his regular form.
Yeah.
He could literally Goldman versus Heat God.
Yeah.
Who's gonna win?
It seems pretty obvious as to what would play down there, but we'll have to see with that. I definitely agree. I wouldn't mind seeing him go back into the real world, since we know things are kind of going on there, especially with school, his sister. We do know that everyone is still back in the game and is searching, kind of searching around for him as they're kind of rolling up and about. I did like that his first idea was to make a statue out of what's her name?
CEO.
Out of CEO, and he thought about it, and then he's like, no, it'll probably try and kill me the moment I make it or brought it to life.
It's absolutely.
He's like, it'll probably have her personality and it'll try and kill me. So, another nod to her attachment to him. I'm still waiting for our other girl to actually make an appearance again too. Dane. I'm kind of wondering when she's gonna run into him, but more and more as the slow crawl we wait for this. So
that's a definite slow crawl for this one, but it's regardless, it's still a fun read.
It's still a fun read. I just really wish that they were a little more consistent on releasing their chapters. It comes out at a very slow pace, so you kind of got to wait a bit for each thing to come around. But yeah, but with that one, I'll go ahead and let's move us on to our last one with the closer out of the night. It is into our man's world. It is solo leveling. Definitely some big shit to talk on with this one, for sure.
A lot of things going on, a lot of things happening.
Yes.
He's asking for a lot of big things.
Not just to mention but to get started. So Sunjin clears out the school. School's safe. Sister is all right. So that bet totally didn't go out the way that those two hoped. But right after he clears out the school and he meets up with the association president one more time. Like you said, he starts asking for some very, very high-level deals. More specifically, he's asking that he can ignore the minimum requirement limit to go into a dungeon.
One man, solo man.
He wants to solo man leveling this, and he, basically the president goes, why would we, why would you want to be able to just skirt that rule? That's one we put in place for obvious reasons. But of course, he's seen this man. He knows how strong he is. It doesn't seem like it's that hard of a sell, at least for him, when he asked the question. And he more or less really wants to know why exactly he would want to do it. Other than to the fact that he knows that he is trying to set up his own guild, and he is trying to set it up with the least amount of members that he can. Oh, you're going to say something, Ark?
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay, sorry. You're thinking like I thought you heard something. But he basically goes, okay, I'll let you do this. But he also sends in one other person when they have the next gate come up. He wants to send in someone to watch him as he goes through this. And of course, the guy is seemingly
the chief of security.
Yep, Wu Jin, the security division with Wu Jin, and he is just completely shocked at watching him just wreck an entire gate by himself, because each of his summons.
Don't worry, bitch. Just sit back.
Yeah,
I got this.
Sit back. I got this. Each of his shadows.
Top of the gate, we see like him measuring out his shadows. Wu Jin measuring out the shadows to be at least B rank and higher.
Yeah.
So he literally has an entire fucking guild under him. Yes,
he has enough shadows to be his own guild. And better yet, he's when the president comes out to it, he says he has enough shadows power wise to be his own nation. Pretty much no one in the nation right now can take him on without serious aid or backup. The whole progression through that entire dungeon with him just like, all right, so he makes his plan of just clear the mobs, go through the mobs, all right, all the shadow or get rid of some of the shadows. The rest of you shadows are going to be labor and parts. You're going to pick up all of the items and the ores. You're going to pick up all the monster parts. And then he decides to take on the main boss by himself, which he does not need any assistance with. He clears out the whole dungeon, and as we get to closing out, he definitely he starts up with I cannot remember his second in command again. Not Tusk. What's his second in command? Drew?
Beru.
No, not the Shadow. His other dude in the guild.
Oh, the other kid.
Guild, the kid. The other kid. Because he brings in his cousin to be their third member, which I believe completed the minimum requirement that they needed. I'm guessing the thing you were thinking of with Tusk was Tusk showing off there as they walk out of the gate, him carrying him and him doing a little flex there, taking some shots. But yeah,
it's surprising that even as shadows they realize that they're on camera or something. Like I'm like. And even more than that, I'm like, wait, how would you know these are cameras if you were like from a monster world before? Like,
well, we know that most of the shadows. We know that most of the shadows carry some level of their own like personalities.
Yes, but they should not have any context as to what's going on with the cameras.
Maybe they pull some knowledge.
They're still inside of Jinwoo.
They may pull some knowledge from him too.
Going on around.
Yeah, they may pull some knowledge from him. So Yeah, so the guild seems like it's ready to go up. It's completed. He's got the minimum requirements. The state and the government are at least not happy with him getting pretty much preferential treatment over other guilds, but as the president said, there's not really much we can say no to, because the whole point here is we need to keep him here. And he's getting he is definitely getting offers from other countries, but we need to have an incentive for why to keep him in this country specifically. So he basically uses that as leverage to bend the rules for him. But the big thing I wanted to note out here as the closeout for the chapter is that right after we see him complete the dungeon and get everything, we get the last couple of panels with a bunch of people looking up in the sky, and it looks like a city-wide gate is opening.
In Japan.
In Japan.
The guys who
to be very clear, it's in Shinjuku. It's in the place I don't want to be destroyed.
And you gotta keep in mind that they lost 8 S-rank hunters.
Yes. They lost a fair amount of their hunters in the island raid.
They specifically lost 8 of their top tier S-rank hunters.
So
Dota Ryoji was known as the second strongest in Asia.
Yeah.
Sitting behind the guy who, what's his name? The national level hunter.
Yeah. So very, very, very coincidental that the nation that now probably has one of the weakest level of hunters is now also being faced with probably the largest opening gate.
The biggest level of threats.
Yes. Now, granted, even with the gate opening, it's not instantly allowed to drop monsters out. At least we think, because we've already seen one breach happen, which seemed that it happened way sooner than it should.
But most of these breaches are supposed to happen 7 days later.
That's the thing. We've already been given one breach that happened, we believe, way sooner than it should have occurred. And now a city-wide large gate is opening on one of the now weakest nations at the same time. So,
and thinking about what Japan has pulled, you think that Korea will just kind of like spew out what they did, and Japan is completely fucked from all the other nations?
Maybe
because seeing as to how Japan completely abandoned Korea for the Jeju Island raid, Korea could totally just be like, oh yeah, Japan did this and this and this and yada yada, and then the whole world is gonna go turn their backs.
Turn their backs on them. I don't know if that's how they'll particularly go through it. I don't know if we'll even get, not even just Japan pleading to specifically Korea, but that they'll send individuals to plead specifically to Jinwoo. Since, as we know, he's not really tied down to being
Jinwoo at this point is like a freelance.
He's basically freelance. He's not actually. I mean, he may be a part. He may have his own guild and it may be tied to the association just by rules for that level. But he does not at all seem to be an agent that will not work for anyone else. Because I mean, that was the whole point with him working with was it the Sword Guild? Or was it the Reaper's Guild?
Knights Guild.
The Knights Guild. He basically,
said, all right, cool. I'm just here to fight the boss.
Yeah, he was hired by them essentially in order to complete a gate. So he's not beneath or below being bribed or being at least paid off to do something. And this kind of, living threat coming at an entire city is definitely something that would put almost any hunter, I would say, on the map for,
With a threat that big. From the way it looks, this gate is black.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a black gate yet.
I don't know what that means. I don't even know if this may be one of the Monarch's doings.
No, but we see blue, we see red, and that's it. And we know that red is like top tier A rank, right?
Red goes to top tier A, AA, potentially S. I think red can also be. Is red also cracked gate? Is that when it's broken? I forget what color it changes when it's
cracked.
What color does it change when a gate?
Dungeon break for
red.
The orcs was still there.
I thought it was red.
It was still blue.
Was it?
Yeah, for the orcs.
Well, okay. See, but for the orcs, that's the gate that we're not sure if was following the same rules. We don't know if that gate was open for 7 days. We think that one.
Well, it was implied that they were waiting for a while, since they were like, okay, yeah, we see this gate open, but we've been waiting for a long time to go strike. That's what the order.
You're talking about the kids. Okay.
Yeah, for the high school.
Okay, I could have sworn the kids said, well, yeah, we see these gates all the time, it's fine. This one's clearly new. It's not, any real worry that we have to, be threatened by. But I could have sworn that I believe the dungeon break gate was red. Once it's officially past that 7 days, the gate turns red, and they're allowed to cross over. But yeah,
Jeju Island raid gate was still blue.
Yeah, I don't know if it changes various colors once it's been over a certain amount of time, because that gate had been open for what, months?
4 years?
Yeah, it'd been open for a while. So I don't know if it changes back to a specific color or whatnot, but yeah, a black gate has not been seen before. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm gonna guess bad. I mean, I don't know what color the gate was for the dragon that they had to face that they talked about prior. So,
but if that was potentially also another black gate,
I mean, yeah. So,
that's blocked.
Now the question though is definitely, I'd say, since we've had the previous issue with Jeju Island going on and Jinwoo choosing not to participate in that and a ton of people dying, do you think that this time around he'll change his mind and join up right away? Or will he still, or do you think he'll still need to be, like, before he'll have to be paid or compensated in some way before he'll even think about trying to step in?
I would assume he'll probably be what was the word you just said?
Convinced?
I had it on the tip of my tongue, but then I lost it.
You mean convinced?
Convinced, thank you.
No problem. I know there's such big,
with
they're big hard words.
With pay, Okay, I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. Calm down. Relax.
You should be in clairvoyant state now. You're just starting to like lull and things, but no. But yeah, yeah. But that's what I was wondering, if this may play something on his psyche, just because prior, we did see, at least in one of the end panels for season 1, that people were questioning him, like why he waited, if he had joined up in the first place, so many hunters would have been killed. This may even be one thing that, Japan throws in the face of Korea, with Jinwoo. Like, he waited until the situation was at the worst possible level. We lost all of these hunters to this situation, and now we're defenseless. Why not pay back for this? Because, that.
Regardless, Korea could still retaliate with the stuff that they have.
Do they actually have tape and recording of them, like, actually dipping out or choosing to leave? Because I'm pretty sure that they were killed before that they had even known that they were getting ready to basically abandon them. Because I remember when they had gotten to the nest, and that's when they had made that decision to, and that's when Biren showed up and was like, "Are you the king?"
Oh yeah, right.
So yeah, Korea may not know that they were seeking to betray them, because I'm guessing that was the idea of the power play, is they were going to have Korea send in their best and brightest, get them all killed, and then basically, okay, now we have
come in and swoop in, yeah,
we have a chance to basically take over your country, because now you have nobody to face us against. But I could see this as their way of doing some kind of propaganda scam to try and get Jinwoo to help them in the situation or not. But that's just a one-off idea. I don't know. The story never really has gone very deep into the politics between between all the countries. There's usually it always comes down to someone trying to do something sly, and Jinwoo just being like, nope, I don't want to do this because you can't make me, and there's no way you can threaten me. We also did see that his powers did also all upgrade. Specifically, one thing was his shadow exchange has now upgraded. So it's only an hour before he has. Oh, it was 2 hours. I thought it was now.
Hours.
Oh, okay, you're right. You're right.
It's a 2 hour cooldown.
It's a 2 hour cooldown now. But he now notices that
he can do it twice.
Yeah, but now he now notices that I can actually start upgrading this a little bit more, to the point that he could probably start doing it instantaneously and across greater distances. Mm-hmm. So definitely giving up to the idea that he can start sending shadows into any and every other country, and knowing that he could pretty much just teleport there at any moment.
Probably like the only way he could be able to do all these gates.
Well,
Like,
I don't know if the
they're
gates are
big
becoming
gates.
more. Well, yeah, definitely getting to the big gates, and I also don't know if the outbreak gates or the gates are starting to appear at a more rapid pace yet.
Well, they did say that more people are starting.
More people are
hunters,
starting to
and
be awakened as
that
hunters.
The gates were appearing more.
Okay. So yeah,
Because
so,
it was supposed to. They were saying something about like a balance between the two. More gates, more hunters.
Well, there's a correlation. There's no real causation yet.
there's no causation yet, but the correlation is that seemingly the time that more gates appear, suddenly more people are awakened as hunters. They haven't really figured out that part of the system. We're still waiting for the system to make its presence known in some way as well. That
We're still waiting for that double dungeon.
Yes. We're waiting for Smiles to show back up and give us his blessing one more time. But is there anything else on that of those two chapters that you want to speak on for solo leveling? Anything I missed? Any niceties? No. All around? No. All right.
You only missed out the best part where Jinwoo literally field punted this ant across the way.
Oh god. Really? Was that it? I figured your best part was going to be the fact that Jinwoo got in a selfie and Homegirl saw it. Nope. Okay. Just gonna pass that.
Come later.
His girl's getting no love. Well, either way, with that,
Chahai is still forever baby girl, right?
Good God. With that,
we know she can't lose.
I know. But with that, it brings us to the close. We're actually finished. We've gone through the entire list. So we'll definitely go ahead and close out. So homeboy over there can sleep. If you want to go ahead and give us our closing there, Seraph.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this episode of the Project Webtoon Podcast. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like down below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And if you guys want to stay updated with our content, make sure to hit that little bell. And make sure to hit that link tree down below so you guys can find our individual Twitters. You can find the main group Twitter of Project Webtoon. You guys can find our Anchor, Spotify, and many, many other things down there. And make sure to leave a comment of what you guys think of all the chapters that went down. If you guys stuck out for this 4, make sure to drink some water and have a good night.
Yes. All right. Well, I will go ahead and close us out for this episode for the Project Webtoon Podcast. It's your big man and the homeboy. It's Sleepy.
It's your voice here.
This is Arc Dragoon out.
I'll put a nice picture there. I don't know if I want to put a GIF or something so that you can at least get a nice image of seeing him. I know how much people miss seeing our favorite characters.
Use that GIF of just him screaming.
We'll see.
It's so
All
good.
right, everyone, take it easy.